All right, Jonah, we're going to see how this goes. I know mine's a little bit different than yours, so it's going to look a little different, but we're going to see what we can do. All right, so this is where we started, right? This is yours. You may have noticed I changed the text. I think you had too much going on this side, and where your text was, it doesn't balance it out. So by bringing it down here a little bit more, it actually balances it out a little bit better with this information. So it's kind of a directional line kind of thing. The other thing, so in mine, I added a handful of other things in here too. So I said this in my notes is that like you it needs something kind of to tie it all together. It feels a little separate right now. So one of the things I did is I added some grain to it. The way I did that is I basically just made a new layer on top of it. And had it, and just, you can essentially just fill it in, or I think you can even just go up here. Once you have a new layer, go to noise, add noise. Oh, because it's empty. So I filled it in with white. Okay. Filter, noise, add noise. And so we can see is that it kind of makes like a grainy like texture, right? And then all you're really doing after that is changing how it interacts, right? By using our blending layers. So if I do darken, right, you can see it kind of adds over the whole thing. And if it's 2 10s, and if I do multiply, each one of those things are going to be a little bit different. So figure out like what you don't like. And remember, you can change the opacity of that specific layer too. So you can just kind of bring it down a little bit if it's too intense. On the one I did, I also brought the words up above it, right? So you can see now the words aren't actually getting hit by it, okay? A couple other things I did too is that I added some textures on top of it. So I just found like a random paper texture that I liked. So normal, right? So this is the actual, let's see, my opacity is down. So I was at 70. So this is the paper texture I found. You can go into Google and just type in paper texture and just make sure that it's a large file. And then you can bring it in here and I can go normal. I think I did overlay again. What did I have it on set before? Oh, I had it set to darken. And I brought my opacity down to like 70, right? So you can kind of see it starts to like blend a bunch of that stuff in. Some of the other stuff I did, I actually added a kind of a weird half-tone texture kind of thing to it. So let's go here. I set it to hue. So let's go to normal. So this is actually what the actual thing looks like here. And then once again, I just kind of messed around to figure out what blending layer I liked, what I thought actually looked kind of cool. I ended up going with hue. And then I made a mask. So that's something that we had talked about in class. And so the way you make a mask is that you click on the little button down here. And then what you can see is what is black, right? It doesn't actually affect what's black, and what's gray or white, we can actually see what's going on. So you can see on here, that texture's there. There's a little bit on his jean jacket, right? So like I said, it's starting to like kind of bring all this stuff together. And then the last thing I did is I had a gradient map on top of it. Gradient maps are kind of like adding like the old-timey, or not old-timey, but like the vintage filters that you can use on your phone. The way you do that is if I go to this little Pokemon ball thing at the bottom. So you can see it says gradient map. So if I click on that, right, you can see it's really intense at first, right? So don't worry about how intense it is right now. So if we double click, we can actually just change the different colors to it. And maybe you really like it like this, or maybe you really like it like that. I don't know. But let's just say I'm going to throw it on here for right now. So we're going to say okay. Right, and then I'm going to go back to my layers. Right, and this is, once again, right, it all comes down to how we blend it. So if I turn it into overlay, right, you can see it's just overlaying that color on top of it. So it's not super intense. And once again, if it's too intense, right, we can bring our opacity down so it's not as hard. Right, so I think it's like a soft light. And so going from where we started to this, I think this really helps incorporate and kind of brings all that different stuff in together, versus just having the stuff laid up on top of each other. So you really want to try to like, how do we bring it all together kind of thing. So hopefully this helps, and hopefully we'll kind of push your project a little bit farther. Cool.